All right, I'm recording.
Okay, we're gonna open up the meeting. Number 8, Park and Rec Commission. We're all set?
All set?
Jen?
Yeah, we're good. We're recording.
Okay, we have a quorum. So with that, I open up to audience and citizens. If there's anyone online,
Nope.
hearing none. Approval of minutes, November 10th. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes, November 10th?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of November 10th. I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And can I ask, did she get approved for the bench for the,
Tuesday night.
oh,
Council's Tuesday night.
all right, consent agenda. Request acceptance, so in the packet was the dates, and again, we may have to change at some point, we all know that, but at least we have dates down for the year. Can I have a motion to accept agenda item A?
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to accept consent agenda number 8, letter A.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so we're all set with that. Okay, can I have a motion to accept consent agenda item B, which is changing field facility use policy?
I'll make a motion that you accept consent agenda B for the highlighted changes in the field facility use policy in the following sections as listed.
Second,
Second.
Tony, thank you. Any discussion? I'm gonna, Tony, do you have a comment, or Don?
I was just gonna bring up what I asked you the other day, if that's okay, but if not, bring up names, is that all right? About, is that okay? Remember what I'm talking
Sure,
about?
yeah, go ahead.
So Jen, question came to me around field usage, and that is, if a field is not being used and a majority of the players on the team are Berlin residents, okay, upwards of 90+%.
Yep.
Okay, but the league that they're playing is profitable.
Right.
Is there any leniency on, instead of having no money come to the town?
No money would come because we'd be charging them for a for-profit group.
Understand, but if the field is not being used.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're
Right.
saying.
And it's open, would we entertain, I don't want to call it a negotiation, but would we entertain a lower fee that they would actually co-pay in another town?
So what you could do is, unfortunately, we already adopted the fee schedule, but what we could do in the future is create a new fee for a non-local. No, because it's still,
For-profit.
no, that's what it is right now.
It's a
It's-
local for
No, it's local.
It's a local
Right.
for-profit, which they would have to prove residency with a roster and everything.
Yep.
I mean, it's something we could easily entertain. It's not something I would do in the office without,
No,
permission
but-
from you guys, because we do have the town council approved fee schedule.
Right.
Which right now is broken into local or non-local / profit. So,
So we would take it a case by case basis and someone would have to come here and present.
we would probably take it as a case-by-case basis if it happened in the next fiscal year.
Mhm.
And then look to permanently add that fee to the fee schedule. If you guys want to take that into, me bring it to you a case-by-case basis, the only problem with that is that they have to, because you're altering the fee, it would also have to be approved by council. So it's a big turnaround, and sometimes people hand me field reservations a week ahead of
Yeah,
time.
okay.
So,
Thank you.
and in the spring, there's very few fields not used.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
In this case, there may have been a lower fee by a neighboring town,
Correct,
right?
yes.
That this person was concerned about this. I don't know if they have a different category or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know, I mean, I gave you guys all the fee comparisons we did when we
Right.
changed our
Sure,
fees, so.
We didn't really see it, so,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, with that, we really have the 3 highlighted changes, item G and item H under section 2.
Yep.
And then in section 3, adding other inflatables along with bounce houses. Any discussion, Jen? Do you want to bring up why you're
I
at
was
this?
just gonna have Steve, if you want to kind of run through why we're asking for the changes on G and H.
Yes, so for a long time now, Zipadelli has always been a high school varsity field. And during the high school baseball season, for as long as historically I can remember, the only person that has used that field was the high school. Keeps it in pristine condition for their season. They're the only users. They have the right to go on and off whenever they want. And it doesn't interfere with anybody if they want to change their practice from 3 o'clock on a Saturday till 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So what I can see happening is with Sage One and Zipadelli, all of a sudden, Berlin Little League or somebody wants to get on there, and high school's not scheduled to be there till like 3 o'clock. They call for inclement weather. We're closed for business on Friday. Now, how do we make that transition? We were just trying to make a way that I was trying to make a way that it's more transparent, that these fields are specifically for high school varsity sports. We minimize the amount of use. They're always in pristine condition for when those varsity groups go out there.
And in full transparency, baseball will not be a huge issue. The only time Berlin Little League plays on Zipadelli is when they are giving up Beretta for Dave Swanson's group. So that really isn't going to be a big issue. It happened, what, a couple times last year, and that's it?
That's it.
It will become a conflict so right now in the spring, Berlin Little League softball does use Sage One because Berlin Bulldogs, which is the for-profit Berlin softball group, or it's a nonprofit, but it's a non-local group, cannot play on Sage One because they're not local. So they play on Centerelli, and then Berlin Little League moves to Berlin, moves to Sage One. So Berlin Little League softball not being able to use it, they'll have to use their fields more. I don't know if Berlin Bulldogs will still be able to find field space, but considering they're both run by the same individual, he may be able to, work it around or whatever. But they'll still have Centerelli and Hubbard.
Pettit's out at Little League.
Billy Pettit still runs Berlin Little League softball and Berlin
He's still
Bulldogs.
running?
Billy is,
officially?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Big Bill from
Yeah,
Little
no,
League
I
is
know,
gone.
I know. Okay. Okay, any further questions, discussion? Okay, all in favor with the agenda item B? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Okay, it's amended.
Aye.
Okay. Parks and Rec.
No, it's Parks and Rec's a public meeting. Are you Crystal?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
Crystal emailed me about 4:30, so I
Okay.
thought it was too late for the meeting. I told her if she made it by 6, she could be an audience of citizens. It's up to you guys if you want to go back to audience of citizens and have Crystal speak.
so if I can, we're gonna insert audience citizens now before we start today's meeting notice. Do we need a motion?
No, I think we can just.
Okay,
Should I just
all right.
close this out?
Hi.
Still put her in.
Come closer.
Okay.
State your name and address for the record.
Yes, Crystal Van Gorder, 28 Glenbrook Road in Berlin.
Is it 28?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'm late. I ran. I wasn't sure where you were, but I found you. With a little bit of help.
I haven't even told them anything, so
Oh,
I was gonna wait until you came, so you have the
Sure.
floor, go.
Okay, great. Yeah,
It's all
no,
yours.
I was actually under the impression other moms were gonna be here tonight, but they must have also been a little bit busy and didn't quite make it. However, I was here in the spring and we were talking about the parks in the town. And I was saying, oh, it'd be great to update this. And I left kind of disheartened because I was told to do some things that I honestly had to Google later because I don't know how to come up with a commission or whatnot in a group. But I did get some help from some other people who kind of led me in the right direction of a couple things. But I guess my point was, I was trying to figure out, still, I do have a group of moms who everyone says, oh, we need to update this, we need to do that. And I do have a group of women who definitely said, if you figure out what we need to do, I'm in. So I'm still in the process of trying to figure out what we need to do. I was here, I think it was in the springtime. I took some pictures of like our parks. When I was home with my kids when they were little, I called Parks and Rec and I said, where do we go for parks in this town? And I was told to go to Percival. And that's the first pictures you'll see. It's a slide. and a broken sign and a couple swings. It's not really what I was looking for, but if you look at Stanley Quarter, I mean, New Britain, it's a bigger town, I know. They have these really cool things for the kids to play on. There's places to sit with your kids and have snacks, and there's some shade. And I know they have the land space, and I was told we don't have the land space or the funds, where that's where I was stuck. So I'm like, well, I don't even know where to begin to try to figure that kind of stuff out, to be quite honest. I was hoping a mom on the Moms of Berlin would be like, hey, I'm a lawyer, I know just what you need, but I didn't run into one yet. I also took pictures of our Worthington Ridge, which I'm sure at one time was a cute park, but as we talked about before, it looks a bit medieval and broken and graffiti, and lots of metal. So the bigger picture would have been great. Let's have an awesome park. I won't take too much of your time. In Berlin, where there's like a pond and like pretty things like a lot of the other towns have. But even if we didn't get that at this point, I'm just trying to find out how our town could even update the town, the parks that we have, the parks that we can actually go to during the day. I'm not even a stay-at-home mom anymore, but I feel bad for all the ones who are, or anybody who wants to take their kids to a park during the day. You're gonna get kicked out of a school, that's fine, totally understandable, I get it. But it would be nice to have a nice park to go to during the day in our town that looks safe and fun. So I just had to take pictures of other towns, Rocky Hill. Where else? And then I took pictures of like our parks. It was like this versus that kind of thing in my email. So yeah, I guess that's why I'm here tonight. I was hoping there'd be moms who had rallied. It's just me.
I do know that Steve can actually answer some of your questions right
Oh,
now. So
Okay. Yes, I
You
emailed
just-
Steve after our meeting too, but I hadn't heard much back.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So, the first one is Percival Pool, Percival Playground
Yeah.
is pretty much right before our meeting. We ordered a brand new swing set for there.
Uh-huh.
And with the lead time through Miracle, which is / Creative Recreations, that has not come in yet.
that was before the
I-
April meeting, before you even came.
Okay.
Exactly, yep. To go along with community playground, I believe you have a picture of like a climber thing that New Britain currently has. At the
Yes.
same time, one of those, something similar to that was ordered for community playground due to lean manufacturing. That has not come in as yet. I believe the picture you have of the graffiti is the graffiti that was done, that was in excess of $3,000, that we had a company come in and wash everything. You must have been in there on a Saturday and the kids came back Saturday night and they plastered the whole playground. So all of that graffiti was cleaned up by a private contractor off the wall who did a fabulous job. The certain areas that come into concern is you put up the picture of the bench, which we just reconstructed in-house. What is wrong with the bench?
Nothing, it's just really outdated. It's
It
just
was
a wooden,
donated by somebody, so for us to go
was
in there
like
and tear,
it was a memorial, right? Kind of like
Yep.
a,
so
so
we're
I
not really
understand,
into just like tearing those down, but
right, no, granted. But what about the, the monkey bars that look hazardous and
yep. So
all the
part of
other
our,
equipment?
yep, so part of our capital plan, the first thing that we have in is for 2023, we have $200,000 in to replace almost all the existing playground at Little People's Playground,
Good.
to bring that up to date. More to code of what kids are looking to play with today and have a balance of, the K to 2 and the 5 to 12. Where it
Mhm.
really encompasses everybody with something they're going to enjoy. Kind of like if you go to Griswold School, it's got a front and a back playground. In 2024, we have 275,000, I believe, in there for community playground to get a retro and a facelift. We've had composite design since we last saw you, one by Creative Recreation and also one done by Compin, I believe the name of it is, a lady named Summer Barupi. So where we've gone into getting conceptual designs, just ready to pull the trigger if the funding is awarded to us from town council.
Okay.
And the Board of
Can you just, can we just
Yes.
make sure she understands what you just said?
Yeah, explain
Because
kind of how the
you-
capital,
you just
capital
told me that
process
there's
works.
200 grand next year,
Yeah.
but that, we all know that that's not there.
Right. So the way that it
It's a
goes is
placeholder.
we identify areas throughout the town that we think need to be addressed,
That one's a
that
quote.
are safety concerns, not safe, just things for the betterment of the town. And that goes into a pool of funds, and the town council and the Board of Finance decide what projects are going to be funded every year.
every department has to submit capital requests. So they're submitting to fix bridges, to fix sidewalks, to pave roads, to update, computer servers, for police cars, vehicles, new trucks for the highway department or the garage or the grounds, upgrades to fix roofs and HVAC systems.
So
So
that's a lot of stuff. that
all
needs
of
to be
this
taken
goes
next.
into a 10-year capital plan, which you can actually see online. Right now, we're working on the new one, so you'll see the old one online. The staff submits it, then they go in front of the capital committee to go through, this is what's on my list, this is why it's on my list, this is why I think it's a priority. And then the capital committee meets, they make recommendations to the Board of Finance, and the Board of Finance makes recommendations to the town council. That might be reversed. And then the town council and the Board of Finance, when they do the budget, they decide how much funding they decide to put forward towards capital
Mhm.
and whether or not which projects will get done.
And we find that out when?
The budget referendum, which is April.
Yeah,
Don't
April,
End of April.
hold your breath.
but,
In the past 3 years, they have not funded a lot of capital. Like,
so the way this town council funds capital, which is what we're talking about,
Priority.
is they don't.
No.
There's no budget for capital.
the last 3
And what
years,
they
they haven't
do is
funded
they
it.
wait for the year to end, which is June 30th officially, right? By the time they get the numbers, July, they have an idea of what surplus they have. In other words, what regular funds other departments haven't spent. Not for capital, but for regular operating expenses. And if just say there's $1 million that's left, then they'll take that million and they'll decide, we'll give, based on priorities, like Jen said, from the capital committee and Board of Finance, we'll give 100,000, to the police for cars. We'll give so much to the fire department. And then they, whittle it down. And then if they want to take on extra debt, which they don't seem to want to do at all, other than for major projects like they're doing air filtration systems throughout the schools, they have some grants for that. Which they will be doing, but they may need debt to do that. Then they'll issue a bond, like $5 million towards repair of those school systems. If they wanted to include in some Parks and Rec bond, 200,000 of this bond would go towards, playground. But we're nowhere near there. I mean, just officially, that's just the way it is.
So basically, as you filter down, I see, and I understand, obviously, there's certain things that are really important that the town needs. I get that, 100%, but I guess we're the moms who are here tonight, and I do have them, I can get them here on a day to,
Where you need to get them is at the budget forum in March. First or second week of March usually. It used to be at the high school. This year it's gonna be at McGee. It is the opportunity for any public to speak up about the budget. You'll come, you'll listen to the town council or the town manager and the Board of Ed present their budgets, but they're not finalized yet. They haven't voted on them yet. That is the time for people to come and speak up about, hey, don't cut this class, class at the Board of Ed because the kids need it.
Mhm.
We always urge people to come, and unfortunately, we never get a big turnout, but that is the perfect place for you and the moms to get together and get up and speak.
Okay, and that's the budget, what did you call
That's
it?
the public budget forum.
Public
Once I know, I just
budget
looked on the calendar to see if it was set yet. It's the first week in March, I think. usually.
Now, that said, though, we just went tallied down the list of what's really gonna be left after that anyway, so it still wouldn't even be enough to update even one of these parks, really. Because I mean, if Friendship Place was $1 million to,
Yes.
so then it doesn't seem like maybe we'll get a slide. It
I was
doesn't
gonna
sound
ask-
very
You're on-
hopeful.
You're on the right track, right? By getting photographs and maybe organizing the other moms better, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
By getting the info together and then being able to go to that budget meeting and speak on your behalf, you're going in the right way, but
So
I
maybe
would
when my
tell you
kids are in high
this.
school, we might have some
no.
forward, no, not.
So let
The
me,
grandkids, yeah.
I do, I have them living with me with my daughter and stuff, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So in your pictures.
Yeah.
We got Stanley Porter Park, you got Middletown, you got Rocky Hill. One park. You go to all their parks. What do the other parks look like? You're showing the best of the best. I say this to help you. Because
I'm showing the best of
Friendship
the best
Place,
because that's where we want to go. Like, if you have your kids and you want to spend 3
Sure.
hours,
So you have
you're
friendship,
gonna go to the night.
Sure.
but we do have one.
so our best of the best is Friendship Place.
Friendship
Yeah, you're
place.
not allowed during the daytime. You get
Because
kicked
of
out by the
school.
police, exactly.
So maybe
Therein lies
that's,
the problem.
maybe that's a change that you could recommend rather than spending the money.
I was told that would never happen. because it's
Maybe.
by school.
Maybe,
Which I
and again,
almost
it
don't
may
mind.
That's not our
But if you
decision.
go
That
to
is
the-
the Board of Ed.
I don't even think I want that to happen because it's a school and I want my kids to be safe in school and I get it. You don't want random
Right.
people near a school. I get it. So that to me is kind of a moot point because I get it and I wouldn't want to fight it because if something ever happened, God forbid, I wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, I got them to let us go
Right.
during the day. Like,
Right.
no, and that's why I'm hoping for
but
something.
if you get people together,
Yeah.
maybe they think of something, though, that, and maybe the policy change would be appropriate for that, and I'm not saying it is, because I don't know right now what I would even vote for. But I'm just saying, you gotta kind of look at all options and
Yep.
put them on a list.
I've been,
And then-
honestly. I've been.
And I personally, I wouldn't wait too much. You came now, this is your second meeting here at our Park and Rec, right?
Yeah.
I would get the moms that you have, get them here.
Yeah.
We really do want to hear from people. And
Things
then,
like
and
that in
then,
Here though, how will we get the funds? It sounds like it's really not a thing.
I can't promise you any funds, but you and your
I
group
don't have the
can
money.
go to the council, and you can go to the council with that same group. You
Yeah.
alone ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
They gotta storm the council meeting, and you don't do that in March.
With our children, will that help? We're all gonna.
Yeah.
They'll bring them, they'll be stuck there for
We
hours.
also, give a heads up to the council, because we want to be fair,
Yeah,
that, hey, people are concerned about these things.
Mhm.
And, and we want you to start thinking along this way. So that's why Steve is taking the bull by the horn, put some money in now for upgrading, maintenance. These are really maintenance type things, right? But it's considered capital.
So basically, Steve puts in the budget and it goes before what committee?
Capital Committee.
Capital Committee?
That's the
Which
first
is
step.
Can
town
she,
employees.
can she go speak at that?
No, that's
No,
not
it's a
public.
town employees.
How many years has that line item been in the budget?
It probably just came to fruition over the last couple of years. This is, I think, my second year as doing the capital budget. So, yeah, I mean, it goes, we had it phased out to be 20 years. So that playground just hit 20 years. And if you look at all the playgrounds were transitioned 20 years ago from the hamburger that came from McDonald's to where we are now.
They're all
And that
coming up the
just
same
been
wish that was still there.
kicking
That
the
was-
can down the road. But Crystal, understand, we all, especially myself, understand the frustration as a parent. I have twin daughters who grew up in this town, is we all believe the playgrounds need a facelift. Anytime there's a safety concern or anything else, please bring it to us. But there's a group of 4 or 5 of all of you ladies and families that go to Little People's and go to community who send pictures, and I have a great conversation with them. We completely support the upgrades of these playgrounds. It's not like we're sitting here saying, no, we don't agree with you, or no, we all agree, we need to get rid of the archaic, monkey bars and certain pieces of equipment that aren't there, and that they're just not allowed at playgrounds anymore. Not
I
that
didn't
they're
feel that was
unsafe.
the consensus last time I was here, but I'm glad to hear that that's the consensus now, that it is a concern, because I didn't get that feeling when I was here in the springtime from everybody. So it's good to know. However, I guess I'm still in the same position where I'm still don't really know where to go from
I
here.
mean, Will-
Except
Willard-
get some
I
moms
mean-
to go to that meeting, I guess.
Right. Willard School has had the same playground for 25 years. Their playground more obsolete than Little People's. I mean, and then you go to Grizzled and Hubbard, which were both recently done in the last 7 years. There's just the difference. So now we're trying to
Awesome.
move.
I know.
Now we're trying to move
Wonderful.
up in the era of getting these playgrounds more utilized and
Yeah.
get more families involved in them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. I just figured I can understand maybe some of the town members don't want this grand park, which I would love to envision with basketball courts and a lake and like all the trees grow. That would be wonderful, but I can't even get a park updated. So I'm not gonna expect that. And I think maybe they're worried about maybe people coming. I don't know. But if the least we could do was upgrade some of these parks and make them more fun and kid-friendly and family-friendly, that's all I'm really looking to do. And I promised my friends, I said, I know I'm back to work and I'm not home at the parks, but I'm still gonna try because I think it should be fixed. And somehow, I think hopefully we'll get there. but I don't know how, but we'll find some moms who have some financial
Grants.
friends who know what they're
State.
doing better than
You
myself.
have representatives right to the state, and there was just an election.
Mhm.
Now, that's another avenue. Well, both sit on the council right now, Donna Beach and Jack Fazino,
Yeah.
right? So you go into the council, they should think outside the block if they can get any type of grants to help. But we have to have a project ready to go with the state and have something.
I was
That's
even
why-
looking at, you gave me a website of like equipment, but like, what am I doing? I don't know.
Well, again, you know, staff and everything can help you, but if you come up with options, like, you know, again, Friendship Place, don't. If there's a way that they could open that, because that is the gem of the town. And that, if that would work for your group, that's a way of not spending money and maybe work towards something in the future. That, you know, if you don't want to do that, you know, if you don't want to even bring that option up,
Right.
then.
I kind of don't. I'm more worried about our children and security than that. I just think the park down the street, cute little spot, it's fenced in, maybe update the fence, get some nice equipment, put some benches in some parks, so parents could have lunch with their kids and get rid of the bees. I know bees are important.
Yeah.
But kids are getting stung and they have allergies all over the place. They got EpiPens everywhere. So I'm just saying, you know, I'm just asking, I think for a small thing, for our town to do something nice for the kids. I know there's so many other things to spend money on, but sometimes it's the small things that make a difference in our town. And hopefully, someone will help us.
So you need to start, you know, I mean, I know you're trying, get your friends together, talk to Jack and talk to Donna Beach, see what they can do in both capacities,
Okay.
right? And maybe through some of these moms, you might find a lawyer or somebody might know, a lawyer might know a grant writer somewhere and see if they can go research a grant.
Right.
But you have to get a project together before you can, you know.
A
go do it.
lot of that has to come through us. I mean, you know, they just don't go out for grants without it coming through the town and the town council saying approved, and the state won't give you a grant normally unless the town's willing to put up the money if they don't get the money from the state. You know, that's the thing. So, but there are all possibilities. The main thing is talk, get people to meetings. You gotta get a group. You know, I really appreciate you coming. This is your second time. And I will tell you that we've had a lot of discussions since you first, because I was not here. I was at a bachelorette, but I was online.
I heard, yeah.
You heard, right. So, but there's been discussion since. And like I said, Steve, Jen, they've tried to put something in.
I'm glad to hear there's something at least, you know.
We just
So
can't.
I heard a rumor, someone said, oh, they're opening a new park over near industrial area in town. And I said, I'm not sure about that. I'm sure not. No, no new park. I don't think so. Okay, so, you know.
We can't even get a cent.
No, there's always discussions on things and even to, you know. Just
There is a new
next
park
to-
going there. There's just no, I don't believe there's any play elements. It's a place you'd go down and you have a lunch or you'd visit a couple of the local businesses. And it's got like a boardwalk and a patio and everything where you'd sit out with benches and trees. It's actually a really nice design, but I believe they removed the playground aspect of it. The last conceptual design that I saw.
Where's that, Steve?
Where's he talking about?
Right next to, right across from Matson Rug. What's that new place opening up?
Hop house.
Hop House. Thank you.
Where is it?
There's
I'm
a-
for
the right of
now.
Hop House.
Kensington Fur
there's
Tree.
a playground in there?
No, there's not
Oh.
anymore.
The
I have no
road
idea about
goes
this
into
project.
the back
They're
of
gonna
it.
create a playground?
No, not a
No,
playground.
it's just gonna be like a walk.
No, that's the one where the Wiseman go.
I don't know.
I don't
Felt
think-
bad, really felt bad that you felt like the consensus of the group is not in line with you, because after you left, we had a really robust
Oh, really?
conversation. And I'm not sure where you
Maybe it
got,
was one or two particular.
and I'm not sure
that
you
weren't
got
that
that from, but hopefully you have a different opinion before you leave today.
You know, another opportunity, there's, you know, some people have pushed for a senior and community center.
Yeah.
We had an advisory committee. The council has decided not to do anything with that right now. But they may be talking to the Y as an option. And I will tell you that when the Y came to speak to our advisory committee, he talked about putting a playground in the backside of whatever facility he might build. which, you know, he would open to the town and things like that. It may be restricted during Y hours, so I'm not sure it would work. But that's why, you know, go to the town council. It will make them think about things and as priorities come up. But, you know, there's always discussion of things where, quite frankly, maintenance is an issue for all of our facilities.
Mhm.
And we always have to fight to just get them maintained.
I'm realizing.
It doesn't always happen, and then they end up, you know, being in disrepair. So,
If enough people put pressure on the council, that's the only way, I mean, you need to do it, right? You need to get moms, talk to people. Have,
I'm not surprised, I mean, everybody's sick right now, I work at a school system now, and there's so many kids absent, so I'm not surprised there aren't a lot of people here tonight, I get it, but it's hard for moms to get out. There, I was also gonna be late, because I had to have somebody watch the kids before I got here, so I understand, it's not easy for moms, especially when you have little ones to get here. So I appreciate them even just talking on Moms of Berlin, they're around there, you'll see, everybody's always saying, where do I go, where do I go, where do I go?
the start may be that the more you come and talk to them, they'll approve the 200,000 at some point, or some portion of it to dedicate to the playgrounds,
when,
which is really good.
right, so I mean, you have to put pressure on them to let them know how you and other constituents feel. And when it comes time to divvy up whatever monies are left, you might have an opportunity to get something. Make Steve a happy man. And you too. But like Donna said, thank you for coming here and doing it. That's the only way something can get
Yeah.
done, right?
I'm sorry for the chintzy, I just didn't know how to show you the pictures without like putting it in a computer. and
Yeah, no,
putting
that's
them on
fine.
here. But, you know, I just wanted to show you how nice it is other places. But thank you all
Thank you.
very much for hearing me out.
Keep
Thanks for
going.
making
Keep doing
Okay.
what you're doing.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, anyone else for audience citizens? Okay, we'll close that. All right, Parks and Rec, monthly report, Deb.
Yep, no, I try to not talk too much, so you guys got it, if you have any questions.
She's been coughing all day.
I've been coughing for 2 weeks.
How did the Santa?
Well, I was home sick with COVID, so Jen worked one night and
Santa's
Ally worked
awesome.
the other.
Thank you.
I had everything set up for it, so the first night was very
Ellie's night
slow.
was much better. They like her
Yeah,
better.
the first night was,
I got nothing.
the first night we had 15, the second night we had 35, which was about what we had
Okay,
last year on each night, for the 2 nights. So, I mean, it was a little bit lower, but not bad.
okay. Any questions for Deb? Good?
Community center looks nice with all the decorations.
Okay, Parks and Grounds, Steve?
We'll start off with what Mr. Starr just brought up is the guys did a great job and the whole entire crew of decorating all the town parks throughout the town. McClatchy, veterans, volunteer, all of town hall, the library and the community center, including the BOE. We actually hired a lady, Nancy Drain, who I think did a fabulous job with all the planters outside of all the buildings of really making feeling welcome when you walk in. So I mean, that was great. I mean, instead of just being an empty planter out there, she put some winter decorations and it really looks nice. We had a drainage problem at Pistol Creek that was eroding the backside of the building. So the guys went out and knocked that out. They put a catch basin in, probably about 75, 80 feet of 12-inch pipe, which came out good. And we think that's now diverting the water instead of having the erosion with all the rocks down by the basketball court and the back garage door. We had a couple of complaints come in over the last month regarding Little People's Playground. It's nice that Crystal came tonight. And the comments come in that the playground is unsafe and there's broken equipment and there's all these problems going on there. And when we go out and do a safety assessment of it, what we are finding is people are bringing equipment that they no longer want. So Johnny or Susie grows out of their piece of equipment they're using, they bring it there, they dump it on site. It could have 3 wheels, it could have 4 wheels, it could have a jagged edge, it could have something sharp. We don't promote anybody bringing any of their personal stuff for their kids to the playground and leaving them on site. We ended up taking 2 dump truck loads full of stuff out of there. We once again did a playground safety inspection to see if there was anything that was unsafe. We've got a couple of complaints about the stairs showing their age at 20 years. We talked to the installer of the playgrounds today regarding the steps and how we can combat that. Is this actually a safety issue? And for the most part, it's not a safety issue. And if it's something we're really concerned about, we can go down there and kind of sand it down a little bit, throw some bed, like in the back of a pickup truck. It's got some material you would spray on a bed liner, and that kind of makes it non-slippery, and it kind of takes the rust away. But there's no really potential danger or hazard to a mom and dad or their kid playing on the playground equipment. I spoke of last time that we had a piece of equipment break several months ago. That finally came in there. And then we added probably like 120 yards of safety surfacing just to give it a little facelift and look a little more appealing. A lot of their complaints are just that the equipment is showing its age. And until we get the funding to replace it, that's kind of where we're at. And I'm more than welcome to discuss the playgrounds and everything else to nauseam with you guys, because it's upsetting when you get the email from somebody stating something is unsafe. That's not the way we want to operate. That's not the way I operate. I don't take it lightly, and it bothers me. So I want you to let you know that my heart and soul goes into these playgrounds and making them safe for every resident that's out there. That's my spiel.
Do you want to set up a tour of at least one of them? Do you want to go with that as a group?
Sure, yeah, I think that would be
So we
appropriate.
know what we're.
Steve, if you had the group go look, is there one or two to go to? Set up a meeting?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's two of them. I mean, Crystal hit it right on the head, right on the nail. I mean, Little People's is 20, 25 years old. Don, I don't know how long you've been on the commission, but I think that was resurrected right when Burger King or McDonald's got rid of their playpens outside. And I think one of them went to Little People's for Burger King Castle, and the other one went to Community Playground for McDonald's Playhouse. So that's kind of where both playgrounds are at. And I don't really know the age of them because it was before I worked for the town, but I think they're all pushing 20 plus years. You know, and I started conversations with Willard School last week. They're in for $175,000 to update their playground. And we had a great conversation with Megan Sorois. We need to form the committee right after the first of the year, because you're not looking at an installation of a playground until the summer of 2024. I mean, that just puts you how far the lead time is, you know, and I keep saying you're kicking the can down the road, but we need to know where we're at. Like, realistically, how long does it take to get a swing in? I mean, we're at 26 weeks since we ordered Percival's, and it's not just one manufacturer, it's every manufacturer across the board. You know, it's great that they can whip out a design and a conceptual design in the matter of 2 or 3 weeks, but it's pulling the trigger, getting the funding, and when can we actually close the playground and get it done? And Donna, you made a great point tonight when it comes to Little People's Friendship Places. We have Jack and Donna, and 2 years from now or a year and a half, we're going to be going into elections. That's the time to tap into them and see what kind of state grant we can be part of. And if we have $200,000 or $300,000 sitting aside that we can possibly match a state grant, that's where we want to be with that, because we're looking, I think, Jen, what were the designs? 650 or so?
750 was one of them.
So, I mean, you're looking at 750 to $1 million for a beautiful playground. I mean, the numbers are jaw dropping.
Right.
But we could start at either Little People's, or we can start at Community Playground. We can visit Friendship Place, but we're completely on board for whatever you guys want to do.
Prior to, issues at schools, right, Friendship Place was open during the week, people could go there anytime. Right?
So
Yeah,
to speak to that, and I might have
There's
my
some
date.
way you could protect that area, separate it, I don't know, but there seems that maybe there can be some discussion to, allow parents to go there during the week, because that's when moms, stay-at-home dads, whatever, might want to use it, so.
Right, and I could be wrong on these dates, but I believe the Board of Education requested us to deny access to all school grounds a couple of years ago when John Schmoltz took over security for the town of Berlin for schools and school safety. That's when the signs went up that we all voted on, or you guys voted on, that school grounds will be closed from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That sign was never posted at Friendship Place. There was John Schmoltz came to talk to you guys about the loitering and everything. I believe might have been last March, last April, and that's when we included Friendship Place into that. The director of security is when we adopted that policy that we would not let patrons into that area.
Yes, we tried to hold that one off.
I'm sorry?
We tried to hold that one off and ended up needing it.
Okay. All right, well, in the meantime, though, maybe, and I don't necessarily want to put it off, but I think it makes sense, like, you know, January or something, we could go to a couple of parks. You point out issues just so that we all get cognizant of, you know, what we're looking at. And again, you could throw out dates, see if we could get a quorum to go. Okay? Okay, great. Thank you, Steve. Any
you.
further questions?
Hey, Steve?
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that DJ and crew did a great job last Tuesday and this past Sunday over at Sage.
Awesome.
Yep, just wanted, I did thank them when I was there personally, thanked them. And then I also want to say that the field looked great after the rubber was put in and the brushing, everything really looked really good. It looked weird the first night you put it down, but then afterwards it looked great for the playoffs, so thank you.
Yeah, we got to thank Jen for that and working side by side with Luke McCoy, who we hired to design the field for design services, of actually holding the finger to the fire of getting field turf to come in, do the proper safety protocols, and thank God for them. And we got the field up to code.
It's a battle dealing with field turf after the fact. I mean, I'm calling like higher ups at the company to get them to just follow their warranty. So it's been
Anyways.
a battle.
Just wanted to thank you.
Excellent.
So, one question, we decided to go visit a park?
They're gonna send out.
Yeah, he's gonna send something, a couple of them.
I'll send out some dates in.
Sometime January, maybe February,
Two days, no.
whatever works for them. We'll see a couple of dates and see what works for everybody
Sounds
here.
good.
All right? Okay,
Remember, I work in Hartford.
grant update?
So this is an email from Doug that I asked for this week. The scoreboard email is, the permit has been approved. They're currently sourcing steel. Delivery date will inform installation schedule for the footing. Equipment is slated to ship mid-January. The fiber project installation is complete. The network connections to follow when the remaining components arrive. Work will be coordinated with contractors, Board of Ed, Town IT Department.
So the scoreboard's been ordered, and that's the lead time they expected to be.
Mid-January, just got delivery, right?
Slated to ship mid-January.
It's fine. We're done there. It's not a process. I don't even think they use the scoreboard.
That's right.
That's nuts.
Offshore, some container someplace.
Okay, before we go to number 6, adjournment, just a couple of things I want to add, and please, if there's anything else, any commission members want to add. First, we want to thank Andrew, who could not make it tonight. I guess he had his baby. He has COVID or had COVID. But we want to thank him for the years serving on our commission. As best I know, he talked to me, told, you know, he has
I
resigned.
haven't received any resignation, so I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
finalized or
Well,
not.
that's
So,
what he told me anyway, so
okay.
I think he's moving ahead with that. And he said this would have been his last meeting.
Okay.
So with that, Jen, maybe you should follow up with.
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything, so.
But thank you, Andrew.
So we have, then we'll have two vacancies.
Yeah,
Anybody want to invite Crystal to?
that's a great idea. You know, reach out.
She's been here twice already, so
Yeah.
she's actually kind of one of us already.
Um,
She's as frustrated as the rest of us.
She's
You know,
outside.
perhaps,
Let's invite her.
yeah,
I can
I'll
send
get
you
in
her,
touch with
I
her.
can send you her contact info.
All right,
Yeah.
that's
I
a
don't
great
think
idea.
as staff, we're supposed to,
Recruit.
yeah, I'm not
And
sure.
then it has to go through council. They're the ones
When I
that.
try and recruit, it falls on deaf ears. I did at the boosters 2 or 3 times.
Of course, think about there.
They look at me with glazed eyes.
See,
You know, I got lucky.
And just so you guys know, even if she does come or doesn't come, we're still technically a commission of 7, so 4 will still be the quorum moving forward, no matter how many members we actually have.
So we really, you know, we got, so we really need people at the meetings, you know. I am planning to go to the council meeting this Tuesday night, 13th, to talk about more than the pool complex. Just kind of lay out the current situation. Steve and Jen, I worked with, and Debbie. I just put together bullet points. Didn't really want to make it, you know, public at this point in time, still a work in progress, but we'll have pictures of the pool also that the council will receive. And then just talk, you know, our plan right now is that we're gonna open the pool as we did last year, subject to Deb confirming that she can have the staff, and that we'll know early February is what we're telling them. And then in the next few months, we'll be looking at different options, coming at them at some point later in the year to talk about things, ideas. You know, throw out the splash pad. If you want to convert from what we have, you know, things that we've talked about. Skate park, someone brought up with, you know, there's a lot that you could do. It takes money. You know, that's the thing. And ask them to maintain the $250,000 that's currently in the list for the liner. Maintain that somehow, keep that in place, because if you close it, you're gonna need it. If we decide we want to keep it open, we're gonna need to spend it on the liner anyway. So, and it may be more, who knows? But that's all it is a placeholder. We have some quotes, but for right now, it's premature to talk about that, so. Okay. Jen is able to be there. She'll be
I'll
on
be on
Zoom.
Zoom.
Steve and Debbie are not able to be there. There was discussion of waiting till Steve might be able to make it January 3rd. Quite frankly, I can't make it January 3rd. So I said, no, I think it's okay. Let the council know. This is FYI information.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is stressing to them when you're up there that, you know, Steve and Debbie are not able to be here. So if they have any questions, we're gonna have to get back to them. We
Yeah.
don't want to give them questions just based on what you and I might know.
I mean, at some point, right, you know, whatever follow-up, I hope that we're all able to
Yeah.
make. And again, commission members, you're always welcome, right, to be there and feel free.
And if you want to read Donna's agenda item, it'll be on the town website for the town council agenda probably tomorrow.
Yeah, so I have a copy here. You can feel free to take a look at it tonight before you leave, okay? Okay, and then lastly, want to wish the BHS Redcoats best of luck
Thank you.
in the state championship
Pretty
for the
cool.
football team. Bring it on home, and congratulations to the high school team. Job well done to the coaches and everything, and of course,
I'll pass it
our own
on.
coach here, Don. So thanks so much. We're-
Did you guys get that ethics thing?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
All right, and then-
Yeah, you'll want to
I
get
already
that back.
did it. I did, I gave it. to
Yeah, I have
you.
it. I'll turn it in
Great.
tomorrow.
Then the other question I had before we adjourn is who's up for re-election this year?
You know, quite frankly, I don't know who's up. Is there any
Because
plan
I
to
was
stay
up
on?
last year.
That was.
I was up last year. so
I
don't know.
think just Tony.
Okay.
You are,
Always why I'm asking is because of what we just said with Helen too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think that's why, once I knew Andrew was considering leaving, I think I had a conversation with Tony, wondering what he was doing.
Okay. Right, so we shouldn't find it.
I'm
That'd be
double
great.
checking right.
Thank you. That's it for me.
any other comments?
Oh, gee. So I was just thinking about the whole pool issue. You know, even if we close it and try to do something else, we're probably tripling the potential cost of either we don't know what the DEP cost could be, right? Then we have to fill it in. Somebody said it would be about $300,000 to fill it in, right? So that's kind of a wash. Then do something else. I mean, please even put a playground in there,
Right,
right?
right.
You're talking about $1 million just to get the thing scoped out and then money after that. That's it's pretty tough.
It's a bond issue.
Yeah.
It would definitely, be a bond issue, but again, every town is up against the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to plan for the future, then you sit back and let it deteriorate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think it's important for us to, again, share with the council, this is what we got and this is what we're dealing with. And maybe there's a better use of that property, and the other thing is, we want to hear from the East Berlin residents. I was even gonna talk to them, maybe we could put a letter out to either townspeople or to the East Berlin residents, certainly in that area, and ask, these are the issues, what do you think? Get them engaged.
That's right,
Get
they need to
thoughts.
be engaged in the decision, right? If
I
they have
think-
kids and they're using, or they want to use the
Yeah.
pool, or the wading pool, right?
Right,
Need to get them involved, to make a decision.
right.
In today's Berlin Citizen, there was an ad put in about the lettuce farming.
Yes,
on, Chittenden Highway.
yeah.
Somebody opposed to it. It was,
Yes, they did. Yeah, I saw it.
There's a meeting, whatever.
That's the 15th, is that?
Right, but we could do something like that. Couldn't we? Take
Well,
out an
it
ad
would be the
about-
town putting in, that's a group that is opposing it, and they're funding it, yeah.
We hold a hearing.
Oh, yeah, no, you can write letters, you could put it, the town could put an ad in, there's be a hearing to talk about it. Right, no, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you can even, not that many people are gonna be watching it, I mean, to just even say that at the council meeting, right? I mean, if people are interested in this, they should, voice their opinion. Or offer an opinion.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people don't listen to these things, and
Anytime
so
you
all
talk
we,
to somebody about the pool, they say, oh, yeah, I heard it's closing. But how did they hear that?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
People have been saying that for the last 10 years.
I never see it posted anywhere.
It's just people talk. I mean, I got calls years ago, like, why are you closing the pool? I go, we're not closing any pool. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. I mean, we have reduced hours and reduced days, and that's the staff issue,
And then the
so,
waiting pool is closed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so listen, if you look, anybody that's been in this town for any period of time, they know what happens with capital spending. There is none, right? And so now we're paying the price for that. No matter if it's the playgrounds, no matter if it's the pool, no matter what it is, the roads. They got some company going around trying to figure out how bad the roads are. Anyway,
again, it's a shame, but the town planning vehicle that was just completed, right? To talk about like recreation. And okay, if you're not gonna do a combined senior community center town funded, and you're gonna work towards the Y, then maybe you don't wanna spend $3 million or whatever, because you're gonna have another facility that's gonna be able to take whatever you were planning.
but that's one small piece of it, but the other piece is the Y is not gonna meet the need of the needs assessment for the community center or the senior center.
No, right, but again, however they work with the Y, you can try and maybe force some things to go in there that wasn't planning. And again, I have no idea, but all that should be part of our strategic plan. That's unfortunately.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I'll second it. We adjourn.
All in
Bye,
favor?
Stephen.
Aye.
Merry Christmas,
Stephen.
happy holidays.
Hey,
Merry Christmas, happy New Year.
Yeah.
Have a nice Christmas. Merry Christmas. Have fun.
See you next
Thank you, Steve.